Thank you for joining us on this ceasefire moment. Grace versus law. We're continuing to look at the commandments and what ones we're able to keep and what ones we may no longer be able to keep. And today we're going to take a look at dietary laws. This one is a bit controversial, I would say. So let's just dive right in and see what we find. Examine the meat of animals to make sure it's permitted for consumption. Examine fowl to make sure they are permitted for consumption. Locusts and fish. Locusts. In my mind, they're not permitted for consumption. Do not eat any unclean animal, unclean fish or seafood, unclean fowl, unclean flying insect. We'll look at those in a moment. Do not eat any insects that creep on the ground. Not a problem with keeping that one. Do not eat any reptiles. Do not eat worms found in fruit or produce. Again, not a problem. Do not eat any swarming insects. Do not eat any animal found already dead. Do not eat a torn or mauled animal. Do not eat any meat with the blood still in it. Neither eat any meat not fully cooked. Only when meat is cooked until it is white inside with no tinge of red or pink whatsoever ensures that all blood has been removed. I'd have to look at that particular one to see the exact wording, but as it's worded here, I'm a person who doesn't like anything pink anyway, so I don't have a problem with that, but I'm sure plenty of people do. The question here would be based on how it's really written, if we look at it and determine it's this way, is can you keep it versus will you keep it? Do not touch the carcass of an unclean animal. Do not eat blood. Do not eat the fat of sacrificed animals. Do not boil a young goat in its mother's milk, since it's a ritual of God worshippers. Do not eat of or offer any sacrifices to the gods. Do not eat the meat of a bull that has been stoned to death for goring someone. Do not eat any bread in celebration of the feast until the Omar offerings have been presented to the priest of Abib. Do not eat any parched grain in celebration of the feast until the Omer offering has been presented to the priest of the 15th of Abib. Do not eat any of the fresh green ears in celebration of the feast. Yeah, we get it. Do not eat the fruit of a young fruit tree for the first 3 years of growth. Wonder what that does to the tree and how that helps. Do not eat the produce from a planting of mixed seeds. Do not partake of drink offering to the gods. Drunkenness of any sort is prohibited. Do not eat or drink anything on the Day of Atonement. Do not eat leavened bread during the Feast of Unleavened Bread. That would make sense. Do not eat any leavened product during the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Do not eat any leavened bread with the Passover lamb. No leavened bread is to be found in any of our possessions during the Feast of Unleavened Bread. No leavening is to be found in any of our possessions during the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Okay, so again, I'm not really seeing a problem with me, myself, keeping any of these. Some might have a problem with number 11 because they like to have, the blood in their meat. And I guess I would have to work on some of the Feast of Unleavened Bread stuff. This concludes this episode of this ceasefire moment. Thank you for joining us, and we hope you learned something.